Yeah. CJ, GJ carted off the field.
No! God, please, no! No!
And unfortunately, Sean, whenever you have an injury that there was nobody around you, nobody fell on you, it's just...
That's the worst.
Yeah, man.
It's the worst.
You just... In any sport, every time I see an injury that a guy just, he's running and he cut and his knee gave out or something, it's just bad. It's never good news.
That's supposed to happen when we 50-somethings, right? I mean, it is. It happened to me a few years ago. My leg ain't ever going to work the same, and that's okay.
Right.
But when you're young and everything, here's the thing, and you know this many, many years ago, this was during the Mariucci era, I figured out that training camp is what I affectionately refer to as Camp Happy Times. Because everybody's on the same page.
Right.
Everybody's in the best shape of their life. Everybody is learning the lessons from last year, et cetera, et cetera. This year is different. I'll be the first one to say it. This year is different. These expectations and the lofty expectations of that are warranted. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that you guys are crazy, meaning fans out there, for thinking this team's going to do that and the other thing. I get it. I get it. The one thing that I liked out of the guys over the weekend, Lindsay, is the reality check that multiple people from the Detroit Lions gave everybody. And I think most importantly themselves. Right. It wasn't even to the fans per se, but it was Dan Campbell coming out and saying, in essence, we haven't done shit yet. Okay?
Right.
This is great. I'm glad that there are expectations. Jared Goff saying the same thing. I love hearing that stuff because, to me, this team was at its best last year when a lot of people gave up on them. When a lot of people, after that start, people said, oh my gosh, are we going to have to start talking about a new coach again? And Goff is trash and, this, that, and the other thing. That is when this team, when they were backed up against the wall and when they could become that, that unit, that's when this team did their, and I'm glad that they take that attitude. Something like this is going to help, but this is a team that, has in their back pocket, hey man, we've been against the wall before and we've responded.
Right. Well, the thing about coaching teams with lofty expectations is you have to stay grounded. And I think Dan Campbell understands that, and he's letting them know we haven't done anything. Like, we haven't won anything. We haven't made the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't stop the fact that people, the fans, and everybody around shouldn't have expectations, high expectations for this team to, in my opinion, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm thinking we should be able to compete for the Super Bowl. We should be talking Super Bowl. Like, that's what I would think. A lot of them don't feel that way. Spinmo doesn't feel that way, but I feel that way if I'm a fan, because I think you've proven that you can be an above-average team. There are only a couple of teams that are, really, really true Super Bowl contenders. And that's every year in every, championship teams in every sport.
Sure.
And I don't see why the Lions shouldn't feel that way. But along with that is getting through the injuries, getting through training camp, overcoming some adversity. And that's what we're seeing now. So now they're going to have to figure out who's going to step up, who's next man up.
Branch, Joseph, Walker, whatever the case may be. This goes to show you how different this franchise is. And I want to get your take, especially, I don't know if you guys know this. He's a former professional athlete. I don't know if you guys know that. But no, when you have that injury, Lindsay, it can be decimating to the fan base.
Right.
But the guys kind of, exactly what you just said, hey, boys, next man up. Like, we're sitting here going, oh, no. Because, listen, this franchise is finally at a place where there is depth at multiple positions.
Right.
And it's so important to have that in case something like this happens. Obviously, basketball is a different sport. You're talking about a much different roster size, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But is there a psychological thing for you guys when somebody goes down? Obviously, if the star goes down, of course. But,
yes.
A guy that you thought was going to be part of the rotation, whether the 6, the 7, the 8, or whatever, is there something that you guys in the room, like, literally it hits you like it hits fans?
It does. It's you feel. Of course, we all feel bad when anybody has an injury.
Yeah.
As a teammate, you look, you want to console them. You want to be like, man, it's all right. We got your back. Like, and sometimes it galvanizes the group, and say, look, we got to step up. Like, everybody has to step their game up. You really, as a team, you hate injuries and you hate things like that to happen. But I've seen teams that have really pulled together and played even better than expected. And that's what you hope for with the Lions. You hope, guys step up and guys can really fill that gap.
Yeah. No, and Spence, what do you think? I know you and I talked about this when we were in last week. Listen, I already got my concerns about the run game. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna shoot straight with you. Let me get this out of the. Do I think the Lions are better? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to win the division? Absolutely. And for the first time in my life, if somebody said what you said, if Flannel said to me today, you know what? I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go.
Right.
Like, I'm not joking. I can't say the first time. I kind of felt that way back in the early 90s as well. But, I mean, let's be honest. If some young slap whippersnapper said, I think they're going to the Super Bowl in the past, I can see T. Foss in particular. T. Foss kind of giving the look like, really, are we? Lindsay, if somebody said that to me today, I go, I don't see it, but I don't think you're crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, How often have we been able to say that?
Never.
Yeah. Spence, what do you think about this? Because I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think you were on the same page as me. I can't get some of the woes stopping the run in particular out of my head. That's something I'm going to have to see it. You can tell me until you're blue in the face, well, they're going to be better because of this. You brought up a great point about bringing one of those safeties into the box. Yes, I'm down. But until I actually see them not get lit up, that Carolina game, I wish I could just take that file out of my brain. That was just such a bad feeling. Is this a big loss?
Yeah, this is a huge loss. It is. This is a guy who is not only a great player, but a leader, a vocal leader in the back end of that defense, especially with a new secondary pretty much all together. Having a guy like that who's talking, who makes things happen, who can galvanize the team back there really helps. And when you lose that in the first practice of the season, now we don't know yet what the extent of the injury is. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy, but like Lindsay said, a non-contact knee, leg injury, your mind instantly goes to ACL, Achilles, something like that.
Yeah.
God forbid it's one of those, but man, it sucks. It sucks because he is a vocal leader. He leads with his play on the field, and you just lost all of that in the blink of an eye.
Spammer, for you, you're a big Lions fan. Did that zap some of your enthusiasm going forward toward the season? Like, did it take something away from you saying, like, man, we might not be what I think we were going to be?
I can't lie and say it didn't. I still think they'll be able to win the North without, with this injury.
Agreed.
I still think they'll be able to do some things that we expect them to. But this is a guy who was – he was a top player on a top team on a Super Bowl roster last year. Like, it's not something you can easily replace. So we'll have to see, if it is. Again, we don't want to speculate on the extent of the injury, but it doesn't sound great. So if he does have to miss serious time, it is next man up mentality.
Well, like Lindsay said, and I'm glad that you said that, and I'm going to follow it. Listen, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. What we can say is usually when you have one of those non-contact type of situations, that's when, take it from the guy who's been there and done that, that's when you have to hold your breath and go, oh, dear Lord, I hope this isn't one of those usually situations.